Welcome to Fox Sports Lab AFL Round 20. We're just going to skip through the tips because there's so much to talk about with the games.
Now, let me tell you, Dicko, how's the windpipe feeling? Things a little constricted? Are you just feeling a little bit of...
Yeah,
I've gone from 7 down to 2 down.
And do you know what? I'm actually feeling the pressure now. I'm really feeling the pressure. If I lose from here, it'll be like Greg Norman at the Masters.
I know.
It'll be the biggest joke of all time. Let's kick off Friday night. So the Blues and Port. So in terms of the Blues, a bit worried about their form at the moment. A couple of weeks ago, got smashed by the Doggies, but it's more a Port talking point in this one because I'm tipping Port and I'm coming in early and coming in hot with you because no TDK. He's out of the team at the moment for the rest of the home and away season. So I think he's a big loss through the middle of the ground and up forward as a spare there. And Port Adelaide, well, they've won their last 7 Friday night matches. So I'm leaning on the stats a little bit more this week. What are you leaning?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because Port Adelaide have also got a ripping record at Marvel Stadium, Dicko. I think they've won like 10 of their last 11 there. Yep. So all roads lead to Port. I'm going to stick with the Blues. Mark Pitnett to do the ruck one out. I think he's waiting for an opportunity like this. Mind you, they haven't been playing great, Carl. I reckon they've had a lull over the last few weeks, so they need to start finding a bit of form, and maybe they can do it against Port.
Yeah, you mentioned the record of Marvel, 10 of 11. You're spot on with that, Port. What about Charlie Kerner? 3+ in his last 7 at Marvel.
Mate, they're going to need him. They're going to need him to kick a few.
They will. So we're disagreeing on one, so I'll put one back there. That's good. I like it. The Q clash. This is the big acid test. The Suns and the Lions. So 7 straight for the Lions. And we know the Suns are undefeated at home. I mean, you couldn't get a better title fight in Queensland right now. So I'm actually going to go the Lions. I mean, they're hot property right now and knocking off the ladder leaders, the Swans last week at the Gathering fine fashion. So are you going to stick with the unbeaten run with the Suns?
Well, they won 7 in a row, your Lions. They're going very, very well. It's not much of an away game. It's only an hour down the highway. But I'm going with the Suns, Dicko. I'm sticking with the Suns. I think with the Lions having a very brittle back line and Ben King due to actually kick straight this week, couldn't have hit the water if he fell out of a boat last week. He was going that bad. He needs to get online, on point this week, and I think the Suns can keep their home record intact.
Yeah, well, similar to Port Adelaide, the Lions have won 10 of 11 against Gold Coast, so...
Does it worry you, though? Does it worry you no Harris Andrews, no Jackson Payne down back?
Not to be fair, no. Doesn't really worry me because King, you said, couldn't hit a barn door. So I reckon Harris Andrews out might be doing him a favour, but that's not going to help. Let's go to the Demons and the Giants. So
big game.
A likely return, but the Giants back up to 5th. So you talked about lulls. They had their little lull. Toby Green last week ignited them, albeit it was against Richmond, and then Jesse Hogan just keeps going on. 4 goals back-to-back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I'm still not convinced by the Giants, but I am tipping them in this one. I think at the MCG they can run Melbourne around. They've got the leg speed to do that. Jesse Hogan's in really good form up forward. And the D's just continue to worry me with their form. So I'll stick with the Giants with the form team at the moment.
Yeah, I'm with the Giants as well. Next one, the Swannies and the Bulldogs. I want to get your thoughts on the Swannies in a minute, just in terms of their last month, albeit they've lost games under a goal, but they're still not winning games of football. And then you got the Doggies. So last 2 weeks have been enormous. They've beaten Carlton, who are above them, and then they've beaten Geelong at GMHBA Stadium in a mud bath. But Adam Treloar comes back, has all-time possessions, and Norton comes back in, supports Jamara Ugle-Hagan. So there's so many pluses. That's why I'm going with the Doggies in this. But, the Swannies in this. I'm thinking they'll get back on track.
Well, I'm going to go with the Bullies away, Dicko. They're riding the crest of a wave. They're not, for whatever reason, the Bulldogs play well against the top teams and they drop games against teams that they should beat. But I think with the injuries, no Papley is a massive out for the Swans. They've got problems down back. Rampy's out. So, all of a sudden, there's going to be some opportunities for Norton and Darcy and these type of players. I think they've played the SCG well before. So I'm happy to go with a team that's really flying and feeling like they can win every week at the moment. That's the Bulldogs.
Yeah. I gave you enough stats there to just suck you in to go the Bulldogs because I reckon the Swannies are immoral. But you took that hook, line, and sinker. The Hawks. Now, I know you're very, what would you say? You're very modest in terms of the way they're going. You never pump them up too much.
I love the way they're playing, Dicko.
No, but you just don't get too excited. I talk finals and grand finals and all this stuff, and you just don't buy into any of that.
But that's because you're a rabbit.
Fair enough. But they've got the Crows this weekend, so they've won 2 in a row. They beat the Bombers last Friday night on the biggest stage, so it came from nowhere to win that one. But the Hawks, 7 of the last 8. It's hard to knock their form.
It's a massive game, isn't it? The Crows were huge, getting over the Bombers in the dying minutes at Marvel Stadium last week. So they go back home chock full of confidence. But again, I spoke about the Bullies on the crest of a wave. The Hawks are doing the same thing. That was such a powerful performance against the Pies. And I was a bit concerned about the wet weather, what that would do to the Hawks. But they were strong, they were quick. And I think they'll go to the Adelaide Oval with no fears. And it's a toss-the-coin game. But I'm going to stick with the Hawks. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going with the Hawks as well. And Will Day, what a season he's having. So his last 15 interstate appearances, he's had 20-plus disposals. So if you're looking at that market better, jump on that one. Let's whip through the other games, Chief. So North and the Cats. I'm going the Cats.
I have to think the Cats bounce back in that one. Although North, they gave the Blues a scare. They're just being a bit more competitive, aren't they?
They are, for sure. The Saints and the Bombers, I've got to ride the Bombers wave. I said they were going to make top 4. It's a long way home from here.
They need to get themselves going, the Bombers. This is the wrong time to be dropping games. And that one last week should have been penciled in as a win. They cannot afford to drop this, and surely they won't.
And another derby. Dockers hot to trot at the moment, the Eagles. We know where they're at, but got to stick with the form side, the Dockers.
Couldn't put monopoly money on the Eagles. I don't think you're any chance. You just got to go with the Dockers. They were great last week. They'll miss Alex Pearce. I mean, he is a big loss, but I still think they've got the depth to cover him.
And the Pies and the Tigers. So Pies running out of time. This might be one they can peg back.
Well, they should, but I mean, the Tigers have been okay of late too. They're starting to be competitive. So, again, I'm tipping the Pies, but, things are looking pretty bleak. Let's be brutally honest for them as far as making the finals goes. If they drop this, they're kaput. You can put the cue in the rack. But I think they'll sneak home. But for whatever reason, I don't have a lot of confidence about Collingwood at the moment.
No, I don't either. I'm tipping them to win, but I'm with you on that one. Now, this is what the punters stick around for. So they go through the duration of the show for our big calls because every now and then they lob. And I'm going to kick it off with Hogan's Heroes. So Jesse's kicked 4+ in the last 3 weeks.
Hogan.
5+ is a 475 at better. So I think it's pretty juicy, Chief, especially when we whack on your big call.
Gee, I hope Stephen May and Jake Lever are watching this. Their eyes would have popped out of their head when they heard you go, Hogan. I've got Hogan 5. That is massive. Well, I'm going to go for the Bulldogs at the SCG to win by under 39 points. So 1-39, Bulldogs win. I think you put those two together, you get a nice little multi.
Yeah, no, that's juicy as. Appreciate your time, Chief.
Pleasure.
Look forward to next week. Enjoy your call. Fishy.
Yeah, fishy.
I tell you, I'll do the show nude next week if you jump me this weekend.
I could be 5 behind again by next week.
See you next week, mate.
There.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.